When we say ancient Egypt and ancient America, most people imagine two completely separate worlds. But here's the thing, they weren't moving separately. They shared too many parallels to not be connected. Today we're going to dive deep down into color symbolism. And when I say deep, I mean you might need to take notes deep. Color is consciously and subconsciously powerful, and what I'm about to share might make you more intentional about what colors you wear and use for certain days, events, and situations. So buckle up, let's dive in. To both Kemites and Indigenous Americans, color wasn't just aesthetic. It wasn't solely what looks good together. Instead, color was medicine, color was technology, color was spiritual instruction. So let's start with blue. Blue symbolized divine intelligence. In Kemet, blue represented the heavens, the cosmos, higher knowledge. That's why you see Egyptian blue, turquoise, and lapis lazuli used in amulets, beads, and sacred jewelry. Basically, blue meant, I listen to source, I honor divine messages, and I'm protected while doing so. Even the god Amun, when shown in his cosmic form, was often depicted with blue skin. Now jump continents. Indigenous Americans, particularly in the Southwest, use turquoise for protection, health, and spiritual connection. It symbolizes water and sky, serving as a powerful amulet to bring rain, good fortune, and healing while representing status and beauty in jewelry, ceremonies, and trade. Some tribes, especially in the Southeast, painted their doors or entrances blue, not because it was trendy, but because blue was believed to ward off negative spirits. Even today, paint blue is a Gullah Geechee tradition of painting porch ceilings, doors, and window frames a light blue to ward off evil spirits by mimicking water or sky. They believed it trapped or tricked ghosts, preventing them from entering the home. Commonly found in the American South, this practice, interestingly, also served to deter insects like wasps from nesting. I don't know if you all remember, but a few years ago, during widespread fires in Hawaii and California, conspiracy theorists claimed that some houses remained standing because they had blue roofs. Mainstream media disagreed. Of course they would, but I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, for both cultures, blue is the color for protection and warding off evil. Studies have shown that exposure to blue environments can significantly reduce anxiety levels and reduce fevers. Research from the University of Rochester suggests that seeing blue may foster a more creative environment. In Kemet, Osiris, the god of resurrection, was often shown with green skin, not because he was sick, but because green symbolized regeneration, fertility, and the cycle of life returning again. Kemites crushed malachite into green pigment and used it for jewelry, healing, and eye cosmetics. Ain't nothing wrong with being spiritually aligned while looking damn good doing it. Both Kemites and Indigenous Americans, especially warriors, use green paint to improve night vision. For Kemites, green reduced glare from the sun, and Indigenous warriors used it beneath their eyes to symbolize endurance and stamina. Green represented the peace chief among tribes and symbolized Mother Nature. So, when you need a reset, stamina, or improved night vision, surround yourself with green. Modern science says green light therapies can moderately improve alertness and attention levels in older adults. Preliminary research is investigating green light to reduce the frequency and severity of migraines and fibromyalgia pain, with some results suggesting it can decrease acute pain levels. Next, red symbolized vitality, life force, power, and protection. Both cultures use red to honor the dead. It was used to protect the deceased in the afterlife. Red was also used to highlight important passages in sacred texts, so if it was written in red, that was basically ancient bold font. Red was the ancient version of, alright, make sure you read and understand this part. Among indigenous nations, red is often considered a color that spirits can see. It was used to introduce children to ancestors. Children were dressed in red during ceremonies and powwows, allowing ancestors to recognize and protect them. Red also symbolized strength, power, and success in hunting and battle. It was frequently applied as war paint to signify vitality and determination. Contrary to its war usage, red face paint was also used to signify happiness, beauty, and health. It adorned dancers' attire and ceremonial masks. When venerating ancestors or engaging in high-stakes power moves, remember the power and protection of red. Like green light therapies, red can also improve alertness and attention levels in older adults. It is also said to improve cognitive recall and increase blood flow. Gold and yellow were sacred. In Kemet, gold represented eternal consciousness. The indestructible flesh of the gods was said to be gold. They weren't flexing. They were making a theological statement to symbolize eternity, the sun, and the divine. Gold was applied to tomb paintings, sarcophagi, statues, and jewelry to signify wealth and protection. Kemites wore gemstones like yellow sapphire, topaz, and amber in amulets to evoke the power of the sun and bring protection. Indigenous Americans used yellow to symbolize dawn, sunlight, and represented the east, direction of the rising sun. In some contexts, yellow symbolized death because it signified a warrior's readiness to fight to the death. That's kinda gangsta. Because golden gods had indestructible flesh like in Kemet, indigenous warriors knew that death would only mean relocation, not a finite end. It symbolized intellect, bravery, and readiness, not panic, just, I've made peace with whatever happens, and I'ma handle mine regardless. That's not weakness, that's power. So when you need to amplify feelings of formidability, wear gold for those who dare to FAFO. Modern scientific studies show that yellow elevates mood and boosts morale. It is used to improve concentration, mental agility, and clarity of thought. It stimulates energy levels and combat feelings of burnout. Yellow light combined with red/infrared light has shown effectiveness in reducing skin photoaging, reducing pores, wrinkles, redness, and hyperpigmentation. While generally positive, some studies suggest that in certain shades, yellow can cause eye strain or trigger feelings of frustration. So do your research to make sure you get your desired results. Moving on to black. Contrary to these definitions, black was not negative in the ancient world. Let me say that again for the algorithms and the comment section. I'm joking, but for real, black was and is not negative. Anyway, to both cultures, black represented origin. Black was like the womb, which means everything came from it. Kemet means the black land, symbolizing creation and fertile soil toiled by the black people of the land. That's why coffins and statues were often black, to invoke the regenerative power of Osiris. Anubis was depicted as black, not because of darkness, but because black meant transformation. It was primarily used in funerary arts to represent the afterlife. Like green, ancient Kemites used black to symbolize fertility and resurrection. Black was used for hieroglyphic texts and in cosmetics. They also used a black, protective, magical, gooey substance for mummification. Among indigenous nations, black symbolized victory, introspection, and protection in battle. Black was considered an aggressive color, representing strength, power, and success. Warriors painted their faces with black to signify victory and preparation for battle. Some southeastern tribes, such as those in the Mississippian culture, used a black drink brewed from the roasted leaves of the yopon holly. Sometimes called casina, the drink was used in rituals that induced vomiting for purification purposes, sometimes associated with visions and trance-like states. While often associated with sterilization or curing materials, science says that black light, aka ultraviolet light, are effective in treating skin conditions like psoriasis, vitiligo, eczema, and other autoimmune inflammatory skin conditions. Historically, black light therapies have been known to disinfect and restore. Next, white symbolized purity, sacredness, truth, and spirit. The white crown of Upper Egypt represented divine authority. White linen was the standard material for clothing, signifying cleanliness and status. Among indigenous Americans, white symbolized peace, spiritual clarity, prosperity, and safety. White was used in ceremonies, including the green corn dance and for peace treaty pipes. Some applied white paint to their faces to invoke the hunting power of the wolf. Overall, the use of white was profoundly tied to the spiritual, social, and natural world, reflecting a deep respect for the color's power. Modern science shows bright white light therapy is an established treatment for seasonal affective disorder and has also shown benefit in many people with non-seasonal major depression, particularly when used in the morning at high intensity, often around 10,000 lux for 20 to 30 minutes. Meta-analyses indicate that well-timed light therapy can modestly improve total sleep time and sleep efficiency in certain groups, such as shift workers and older adults. In people with neurodegenerative conditions, for example, dementia, structured light therapy programs have been associated with improvements in sleep, daytime alertness, some aspects of cognition, and reductions in agitation and other neuropsychiatric symptoms. Experimental work in Parkinson's disease suggests that bright light may help both motor and non-motor symptoms, such as sleep and mood, although protocols are still being refined and it remains an adjunctive treatment. Last, purple or violet was used for ceremony and magic. Ancient Kemites used this rare, expensive color primarily to signify royalty, power, and high status, often reserving it for garments worn by pharaohs and elites. Due to the difficulty in sourcing the dye, it was a luxury often costing more than gold. It was mainly derived from sea snails or plant mixtures. Indigenous Americans used purple to represent nobility too, as well as wisdom and spirituality. They used purple beads called wampum, created from clamshells that were used for currency ceremonies, treaties, and in some cases to represent records. Studies show that certain lighting environments that use softer blue-violet or lavender tones can feel calming and may help some people experience a greater sense of relaxation and emotional comfort. Like black light, violet light can help reduce acne-causing bacteria. Keep in mind that while some studies suggest benefits for specific conditions, mainstream health authorities note that there is limited scientific evidence to support the effectiveness of color therapy in treating major illnesses. Chromotherapy is intended to be used as a complementary, non-invasive, and low-risk support to traditional medical treatment. Now that we have discussed the ancient symbolism of different colors in relation to modern science, I hope that when you see pottery, papyri, beads, feathers, or other artifacts, you remember that ancients didn't use color for mere fashion or to coordinate. They used color for real purposes and alignment. How can you apply ancient color practices? Stay with me as I share some practical ideas. Step 1. Based on what we know about color symbology, ask yourself one question. What do I need more of right now? For example, if you need to reset your nervous system, go with green. Try not to overthink. Your intuition already knows the answer. Step 2. Visual focus. Sit comfortably. Place an object of that color in front of you: shirt, candle, crystal, child, or crayon. Use what you have. Gently focus on the color, not staring, just letting it exist in your vision. Ancient people understood this. Eyes feed the nervous system. Step 3. Color breathing. Close your eyes. As you inhale, imagine that color entering your body. As you exhale, imagine tension leaving in a dull gray vapor of sorts. Inhale slowly, naturally, no force. If your mind wanders, that's fine. Just keep inhaling the goodness of your color. Step 4. Spoken intention. Sound matters. Say one sentence out loud, silently, or in a whisper. Blue. I receive clarity and divine guidance. Green. My body and spirit renews with divine precision. Red. I move with strength and purpose. Yellow. I walk in courage and wisdom. Black. I am protected and grounded. White. I release what no longer serves me. Purple. I honor my own power and allow my higher self to guide me. Step 5. Seal it. Place a hand on your chest or stomach. Take a deep breath and say, "This alignment is complete." That's it. You can add to this ritual to make it your own, which will make it even more powerful. Why this works. Color affects mood and focus. Modern science agrees. Visualization calms the nervous system. Breath regulates emotional energy. Spoken intention engages memory and belief. Ancient technology. Modern application. For an extra boost, wear that color intentionally for the rest of the day or tomorrow. Not because it matches, but because it reminds you of your alignment. I know it may seem like I'm wildin', but I dare you to try it. Our ancestors and modern science can't both be wrong. In a prior episode, we delved into animal symbology. So if you have a favorite animal, or if a particular animal has crossed your mind or your path lately, get ready to unpack if it's a spiritual thing or not. Until then, love y'all. Stay in your sacred power.